After her mother's death, Awefe walked into the forest and was never seen again. Some said her sorrow turned her into a spirit. Others whispered the forest itself swallowed her body and soul. But on certain nights, the wind still calls her name. They say if you listen closely, you hear her crying between the trees. And when the moon turns pale, Awefe walks again. Many years passed after that day, the day Awefe walked into the forest and vanished. The people of Uwhokori moved on. Children were born. Elders were buried. The wind carried her name away like ashes. Soon, no one spoke about her anymore. But the forest never forgot. Sometimes, when the moon was red and the night was too quiet, hunters claimed they saw strange lights moving among the trees, white, slow lights that danced like fireflies but never faded. Others swore they heard a woman's voice humming softly, a tune so sad it made their hearts ache. Who could it be? They would whisper. Don't talk about spirits at night, the elders warned. But deep down, they all knew, somewhere, Awefe was still there. For years, peace returned to Uwhokori. The crops grew, the rivers flowed, and laughter filled the air again. But peace never lasts forever. One year, when the harmattan winds blew stronger than usual, a terrible sickness entered the land. At first, it was just cough and fever. Then the fevers burned hotter, and the coughs turned into choking cries. Within weeks, half the village lay weak and dying. The priest burned herbs and called on the ancestors. The healers mixed roots and leaves until their hands were raw. But nothing worked. Even the chief's own son fell sick, and the priest, while praying for him, collapsed. Fear swept through Uwhokori like wildfire. Families stopped visiting each other. Mothers hid their children. And when someone coughed, others ran. The village became a ghost town. One cold, moonless night, a little boy named Ejiro sat beside his mother. She was burning with fever, her breath faint and weak. The boy's eyes were red from crying. Please, he sobbed softly, Spirit of mercy, please don't take her from me. The hut was silent, except for his mother's shallow breathing. Then suddenly, he heard it. A voice. Soft. Calm. Almost like a song carried by the wind. Do not cry, little one. Ejiro turned sharply. And there, at the corner of the hut, stood a woman. Her skin glowed like moonlight touching still water. Her eyes were calm and full of peace. Her hair fell long behind her, floating gently as if it moved with the wind. Ejiro's lips trembled. Who are you? The woman smiled sadly. I am Awefe. The boy gasped. Awefe. The girl who walked with death. Awefe nodded. Yes. But I no longer bring death or life. I bring balance. She knelt beside the dying woman, placed her glowing hand on her forehead, and whispered words that sounded like a melody from another world. The air inside the hut became still. The fire stopped flickering. Even the boy forgot to breathe. Awefe's voice grew softer and softer, until it faded completely. Then, something happened. Ejiro's mother, who had not moved for hours, took a deep breath. Her chest rose and fell, once, twice, and then she opened her eyes. Ejiro gasped and hugged her tightly. Mama. You're alive. You're okay. But when he turned to thank Awefe, she was gone. Only a single white feather lay on the mat where she had knelt. By morning, the news had spread across Uwhokori like wildfire. They say a spirit woman healed Ejiro's mother. She came from the forest. Her skin shined like moonlight. That evening, the sick and the weak gathered near the old shrine. They sat on mats, trembling with hope. They wanted to see her, the spirit woman, for themselves. The night was quiet. The air thick with mist. Then the wind changed. A cool breeze swept through the trees. And out of the forest came a soft white light, slow, graceful, beautiful. Awefe stepped into the open. Her robe moved like water, her eyes glowing gently. The villagers gasped and bowed. Even the chief fell to his knees. But Awefe only raised her hand and said, "Do not bow to me. I am not a goddess. I am only what the world made me." Her voice was soft but powerful. "Your sickness is not of the body," she said. "It is of the heart. It comes from hate, jealousy, and fear, the same poison that made you reject me when I was a child. You turned your blessings into curses." The people began to weep. An old woman cried out, "Forgive us, Awefe. Forgive us. We called you evil when you were only a girl." Awefe walked slowly toward her and touched her shoulder. Her touch glowed like light. "The spirits have already forgiven you," she said gently. "But you must forgive yourselves." The crowd bowed their heads, ashamed. Awefe looked toward the sky. Dark clouds gathered quickly. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Then rain began to fall, cool, gentle rain that washed away the dust, the sickness, and the fear. Awefe raised her hands to the sky and whispered to the wind. Lightning flashed once. Twice. The third time, the thunder rolled across the hills like a great drum. And just like that, the sickness was gone. When the people lifted their heads, Awefe had vanished again. Only her voice remained in the wind. "Both are gifts, treat them well." By morning, the people of Uwhokori built a small shrine at the edge of the forest. They placed white feathers there to honor her. And from that day, whenever someone recovered from sickness, they would smile and say. Because even now, when the moon is full and the night is still, people swear they see her, a tall woman walking quietly between the trees, her feet not touching the ground, her eyes glowing softly like moonlight. They call her the spirit woman of Uwhokori, the one who walks between life and death, keeping the balance.